Hi, TDS's 2022 Easter update should have been one of the game's best. It had an entirely unique game mode and a brand new season pass and tower. However, upon release it was immediately met with a wave of intense backlash, all because of that one tower, the Engineer. The Engineer tower was first teased over a year and a half ago in a trailer for the Hardcore update, and the community later received confirmation that the tower was being implemented in a Discord post from a team member, Qumu. The tower is one of the more well-known of the unreleased, and has been expected to be added for some time, but the problem wasn't with the mechanics of the tower itself at all. Rather, it was its implementation. A lot of people, myself included, thought that this would be a reward tower for the new event. Towers released in the same patches as events generally have this correlation. Additionally, the promotional art for this tower was on the Easter map. In the update, it features in the promo art with an event enemy, and it featured in the Easter trailer. While in hindsight, it's understandable that the developers would want to promote both aspects of the update. At the time, all of it seemed to cement that the tower would be an event reward. However, this was not the case, and as was quickly discovered by the community, the tower actually costs gems. Gems are a currency which can only be attained from Hardcore mode, a secondary game mode which is generally considered a very unbalanced and unenjoyable experience. No bias here. In addition, the tower costs 4,000 gems, a huge amount. The Accelerator, a tower which identity revolves around its correlation to Hardcore, only costs 2,500 gems. While the Engineer is a very solid tower, the price just doesn't seem fitting. For this to make sense, there's another side of TDS that must be looked at, the monetary side. I don't think it's too polarizing to say that TDS is a very heavily monetized game. There are 7 constant game passes and a rotating library of event-specific ones. You can buy crates, coins, gems, all with Robux. Considering it is a free-to-play game, it's hard to criticize this too heavily. However, the Engineer Tower feels like the first tower to be implemented where you're specifically meant to pay real money for it. Along with the gem currency and the high price, the final nail in the coffin for me is the Engineer store page. Beside the standard pop-up, there is a large ad promoting the Game Pass, which to me cements that this is the real way you're meant to get the tower, with the free-to-play option being only a technicality. I'm being pretty harsh here, so let's bounce over to the dev's point of view. After the initial backlash, Below Natural made a post discussing some of the controversy. In terms of the price itself, he makes 2 main points. First of all, he says the tower was always meant to be a hardcore tower. Secondly, he mentions that the gem reward for beating hardcore will be increased with a future update. Honestly, I think this is a pretty weak rebuttal. First of all, there's really no reason the tower couldn't have been adjusted to be an event reward. It even makes sense thematically, with the final boss being a literal robot. Gem reward increase is nice and will presumably make the tower a bit easier to get. However, I doubt it will be very significant. I think the more telling part of this post is the second half, where he talks about the development process of towers themselves. Specifically, he says that almost half the time spent on new events is focused on the tower rather than the gameplay. So reading between the lines here, this is why I think the team doesn't find it justifiable to devote so much time and effort into an event tower which will only be attainable for a few months at most. By releasing the Engineer as an expensive game pass and one that's available year round, it will make more money than if they simply released the tower as a free event reward, even if there was a cheaper game pass coupled with it. Development of towers takes a lot of time, and they need the heavier monetization to justify that time sink. Finally, it also has to be said, at the end of the day, the devs poured years of their life into a free-to-play game, and now also have a small team to support. None of us know their financial situation, and it's hard to make a moral judgment on this without knowing the circumstances behind their decision. So what's the takeaway here? I still bought the Game Pass.